it's going from like 1994, All I Want for Christmas of like, oh, you're the one for me. I'll leave it at that. Then Ariana Grande's like, all right, you're the one for me, but like, let's also become one for each other. And we're not going to get into
Yeah.
details. And then Sabrina Carpenter's full on like, I'm shaving my
Give me them
pussy.
big old
My
snowballs.
pussy is the Christmas tree. Yeah, give me your snowballs. Welcome to the Breaking Takes Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah,
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad, whatever. This is the holiday extravaganza for whatever religion you were forced into when you were a baby and you still kind of celebrate. This is that.
Yeah.
Whatever that is for you.
Or if you just are super into capitalism and just really like buying things.
Yeah.
I'm happy
Celebrate
for
that.
you. Yeah.
I mean, that's what Christmas is. Christmas, there's no biblical ties to Christmas anymore. It's just either if you don't have that much money, you try to look at your checking account and you go, how can I get presents for 5 people with $37.13?
Yeah.
Or if you're rich, you go, how can I flex on all of my other aunts and uncles and cousins? How can I buy my cousin a bigger gift than their aunt and uncle is going to get them as their parents? How can I just like show up and swerve with my, buy your 7-year-old a Tesla if you can do it? Just absolutely flex.
Yeah. Do you like buying gifts? Do you tend to buy gifts for your family and loved ones?
I like the creativity aspect of it. I make it hard for myself because I wait so long to do it. Like after this, I'm going to start looking at shit. I have a good idea of what I want.
Okay.
But I like the creativity of it. I like trying to get experiences over things unless I think that the thing is going to be really useful for someone in my family.
Yeah.
But I like just trying to pick out the thing and then making it encompass as many people as possible out of my own laziness, where I'm like, I could get, this fucking experience for 4 people in my family and just wrap it all together in one gift. They'll squeeze into the safari Jeep. It's only for 2 people, but they'll make it work with 4.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy the creative aspect.
But it's like you and your dad.
For 6 cousins, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I don't know. Do you like getting the presents or
yeah,
what do you,
we
what do you think
touched
about
on
it?
this in an older episode, but yeah, I love gift giving because I love the satisfaction of like getting someone a good gift. So I do like gift giving for Christmas. I feel like since I moved away from family though, I used to get my parents or my siblings like stuff for Christmas. Now that I moved away, I'm like, I literally don't get anybody anything for Christmas except for my partner because we live together and my 2 best friends. I would like to get more stuff, but like I'm not made of money, people. If you want me to buy more presents, like subscribe to the Patreon because I can't be out here. This is a dark time. The prices are skyrocketing. How could I possibly get Christmas presents for all the people I want?
You're making it hard for us to be capitalist pigs, and there's nothing more I want to do than do that. So subscribe to the Supercast. I think you also find out who you really like in your family and extended family once you start spending your own money on presents. Oh yeah, easily. Because when you're younger, you remember when your parents would say, sign this card for Aunt Susie, and your parents would spend the money on it, but you'd feel like you were giving it to them when you're 12 years old and they thank you for the gift. And then when you're actually spending your own money,
it's funny.
When you're actually spending your own money, you're like, I don't care about Aunt Susie.
In hindsight, it was funny, like, my parents are divorced, right? So, like, when you're a kid, you literally you make exes buy things for each other because I can't buy shit for my dad. So now my mom, who probably the last person she wants to buy a gift for is my dad,
Yeah.
her ex, but she has to because I'm a kid and I don't have real money. So that was always
Yeah.
a treat too. I'm sure she's glad that's over with.
So I'm curious now, as an adult with divorced parents, do you do you have to be careful with the gifts that you give each of them because you'll know that they'll talk about it? Or does it not really matter? Like,
What do you mean
would
talk
your
about
mom
it?
ever, like, would your mom, like, if your mom's talking about a present, I don't know if they still talk at all,
I'm
or if
sure
there's any
they'd prefer
communication.
not to. They do
Okay.
communicate. Like they're civil, they communicate obviously when we all
Yeah.
need to like get together, but no, they're not like calling each other up or at all
Like if,
texting.
like if you, like if you got your mom a set of baking plates and then you got your dad uh like a new set of solar panels for the
Oh my
house, which
god.
was just like 1,000 times more,
Yeah.
and your dad mentions the solar panels on the phone and your mom's like, I got baking utensils, like what the
Yeah.
fuck, like have you ever had that happen or not really?
No, it would for sure be the other way around for one.
Okay.
um, my dad like sucked at Christmas growing up. He was like the worst. He never got me like anything I ever wanted for Christmas. It was like the worst all the time. He still doesn't
Mm,
get me anything I ever want for Christmas. So I honestly, like, no, I don't think he really cares if I get him anything. My mom,
mm,
I would like to get more things for, but
yeah.
no, they
do
wouldn't
you
even chat about that. They would never know.
do you have an example of something that you were expecting or something that you asked from your dad,
Yeah.
and then versus the actual thing that he got you?
Yeah, I don't really remember. This is like literally we're about to open a can of Sam's trauma on the pod.
Yeah. Yeah,
um,
I'm spill this all over the place.
yeah,
We were shitting in Pringles cans last week,
yeah,
and now we're just
exactly.
opening cans
Um,
of traumatic
I
experiences.
never expected anything from my dad. I never made a Christmas list for my dad. Like, like when you're a kid, you make like a wish list to Santa or whatever. But it's really
Yeah.
you give it to your parents. And yeah, so I made a list for my mom because I knew my mom would actually like go try and get some of the things. I
Yeah.
didn't expect shit from my dad because he never got anything, but I can definitely tell you some of the things like he used to get and like wrap. One time, Zach, he didn't even like wrap the gifts. He just like left them in like like the Walmart bag, like a little plastic bag.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't even wrap the gifts. But if he did, it would be stuff that like he wanted. So
Yeah.
my dad's a bit of a narcissist.
So
So
he's just giving you gifts that he knows you don't want, and you're like, I'm gonna return it, and he goes, I'll just take it. You're like 5 years
kind
old, and
of.
it's a
I mean,
barbecue.
yeah, he used to get things. I would open up like a present and it would be like candy bars that he liked. Like
Mm,
like a Mounds candy bar. It's like
yeah, just like a
coconut.
candy bar kid doesn't want.
Yeah,
Like
like
no 5 year
almond
old's like,
joy
can I
or
get
some shit.
Mounds? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. So he'd do that or like a thing of like nuts. Like it would be the worst. My dad was the worst Christmas, literally the worst. So yeah, I used to
yeah,
like hate Christmas there. My mom always did it up the best she could, so that was fine. But yeah, my dad dead ass like wrapped like cans of like food and like jars of nuts.
yeah.
And maybe
The
if I'm lucky, I might get a t-shirt thrown in there. That probably doesn't
yeah.
fit me. It's probably too big.
Yeah, I'm sorry for laughing at your trauma, but the not wrapping, like giving it to you in
No,
a
yeah, for
Walmart bag
real.
is hilarious
I'm so for
because
real.
at all of these big chains, they always ask you at checkout when it gets closer to Christmas time,
Yeah.
do you want to spend extra $3 and
Oh
wrap
no,
this?
no,
And
he's
your
not doing
dad was
that.
just like, no,
No, he's not
just give
doing
me the
that.
bag.
He also one time used like construction paper because we just like had construction paper in the house for like, school projects and not
Yeah.
wrapping paper. So then he would just, use that. I have no
Uh,
fond memories of Christmas. growing up. So yeah, I don't feel bad about not getting my dad stuff.
Yeah, well, that's why, we build fond memories on the
I
Christmas,
know.
Hanukkah, Kwanzaa extravaganza.
That's
That's
right.
just what we're
Well,
here
yeah,
for.
you
I
you said you're like kind of Jewish, but you celebrated Christmas
I'm Jewish.
ish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I yeah, like my mom is Catholic and my dad is Jewish, and the way that Judaism and Catholicism are is you are whatever your mom is. So I was
Okay.
raised Catholic along with my brothers, but we always celebrated Hanukkah,
Mhm.
Yom Kippur, all the major Jewish holidays, which my dad really didn't care about. He went to
Yeah.
temple a little when I was younger, and I've been to temple probably like close to 100 times with all the bar mitzvahs
Mhm.
and going for holidays. But my dad, after a certain age, he was like, I'm good just celebrating Christmas. And my mom, as the Catholic one, was like, no, we're going to make it even. It's going to be
Okay.
50-50,
Yeah, she wanted to be
Easter and Yom
inclusive.
Kippur.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christmas and like we're not. So I feel lucky that we got to celebrate both
Yeah, did
equally.
you get like
I have
8 nights of gifts?
no,
I
I
know as
didn't
a
get
kid, like,
any.
everybody wanted to be Jewish because it'd be like, "Oh my god, you get fucking, like, a week straight of gifts."
I wanted to be because most of my friends in middle school were Jewish before I went to Catholic high school because my town is pretty much 70% Jewish
Yeah.
and 30% Asian. And that was like the breakdown of my friends was like 70-30 Asian, and I was
Mhm.
the Catholic one. And so I would go to all these bar mitzvahs. Everyone's turning 13 and their parents are throwing this party that's worth like 30 grand, and they're getting all these fat checks, and like people are getting iPod minis and gift
Hell
bags. And then
yeah.
I turn 13 and I get confirmed, and I have like a small dinner at a
Mhm.
okay Italian restaurant in
At
Long
an
Island. And so
all-you-can-eat buffet.
yeah. And I'm looking at my Jewish friends and I'm like, but like, I feel really lucky because I did have, I did get good presents on Christmas. But when everyone around you is Jewish and they're getting 8
Yeah.
nights of presents, and
Mhm.
day one, your friend calls you and he's like, I just got Grand Theft Auto. And the second night I got
Yeah.
like a
And you have to
PS2.
wait
And
until
then the
Christmas, and you're probably not even gonna get it.
yeah, and when your friends' parents are leading with Grand Theft Auto and
Yeah,
PS2, because
shit.
it's always a buildup.
Okay.
I'm like, what are they getting on night 7? Like, what? Like, because
Wow.
you don't want to flame out. So I know so like I would be jealous of that,
Mhm.
but then at the same time, I think this is what my parents would have done if they were gonna give me a PS2 for Christmas. If I was Jewish, they would have been like, all right, night one, here's one controller. And then on night two, here's another
Like,
controller.
here's an
Night three,
HDMI
here's the
cord.
HDMI. Yeah, night three, here's the H. So like, I don't think my parents would have changed anything. It just would have been like the layout would have been
Yeah.
different. But yeah, that was kind of how I grew up, which is celebrating both holidays, but getting presents for just Christmas
Yeah.
basically, and then sometimes Easter. But that was pretty much it,
What's the
which was
best
great.
do you have a memory of the best Christmas gift you ever got, or Hanukkah gift, or just holiday gift?
The most excited I've ever been for a Christmas gift was getting a GameCube.
Nice.
That was before. I think that was the first legit game system I'd ever had. I had a Game Boy before that,
Mhm.
and I think GameCube was before PS2, and
Mhm.
that came out with Monkey Ball, SSX Tricky, NFL Street. So I got the
SSX
starter
Tricky.
pack.
That's my
Y- y-
jam.
I fucking loved it, and I played that must have been 24 hours straight. I
Yeah,
remember
same.
trying to like turn the lights off downstairs to make my mom think I would like make some noise upstairs by my room to make her think I was getting ready to bed.
Yeah,
And
and
then
then you
I would
creep down the
sneak down
stairs.
as creep down in the dark
Yeah.
and turn on the GameCube and like
Mhm.
close the door so the light of the GameCube didn't come out into the hallway.
Yeah,
And my mom would catch me every time. But
of
yeah, I
course.
must have played 100 hours in the first week.
That's amazing. I had a PlayStation 2. I had a Game Boy, then I had PlayStation 1, I had PlayStation 2, but I had an older brother, so I don't think that those gifts were mine. I think I just like ended up playing with them. I do
Yeah.
remember as I got older, I got a Wii. And, Wii was
Mm.
the shit back in what was that? Middle school, high school for us,
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
must have been like 7th or 8th grade, maybe ninth
Yeah.
grade, around
Yeah.
there.
So
Yeah.
I was pretty lit about that. That was probably one of my favorites at the time.
Yeah. The getting your first game system to yourself is a huge childhood experience. Like not having to share. And I still shared it with my brothers because my younger brother's 2 years younger than me and my older brother's 8 years older than me. So it was a similar
Gotcha. Yeah.
situation where my older brother would get the Xbox or the PS2 and then it would just be in his room so I could play it when he wasn't playing. But then the GameCube was the first one where my parents were like, this is yours and your younger brother's. This can go in your guys' room. And I was like, fucking sick.
Are you ever curious about like what went on with your parents that they had a child and then no more for 8 years and then you came along? Like was your eldest
Yeah.
sibling maybe an accident or
So my mom, that's what I thought.
That's quite an
That's what I
age gap.
that's what I thought. I grew up thinking, my older brother was probably an accident or maybe
They can't have
I was an
2, but
accident.
then you have a little brother, so that's why I'm thinking, like, the older brother would have to be the surprise.
So what actually happened is my parents had my older brother, and then in between me and my older brother, my mom had a miscarriage. So I
Oh,
think I was
okay, this
supposed
is
to have a
I didn't
sister.
mean to unpack now look, we're just unpacking trauma. We're
Well,
getting you
this
guys
is,
ready for the holiday season when you all go home to your family, and trauma will
yeah.
inevitably be unpacked.
Yeah. Thanks for making me think about my
Yeah.
dead ghost sister that I never met and never will. But,
Yeah,
hopefully she's floating around up there with
yeah.
her own GameCube.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely. May
but
she
yeah,
rest.
I thought my older brother was a mistake for a long time. And then I learned that. And I was like, oh, that makes
Yeah,
sense, but then I would have been the last one probably because my parents always said they wanted to have three.
yeah.
So I wouldn't have had my younger brother.
Mhm.
So I couldn't imagine if I grew up and had an older sister and didn't have a younger brother. Like that would have been
Yeah. It's
insane.
the way it was meant to be, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was planned. I was the final one though, and I'm so grateful. I would hate to have a younger sibling.
Yeah. It's a good time. It's, you get to you get to like experience things and then pass it on as like as if you're a wise elder,
Yeah.
but you're only 2 years older. I remember like I'm 9 and my brother's 7.5 because it's not a full 2 years.
Like,
It's
you
like
don't get it
it's
yet,
18
but
months.
you will
Yeah, and
someday.
I just be like on the patio on the backyard steps
Sit down.
explaining to him how the best way to throw a wiffle ball is.
Yeah.
And I'm just like doing it as if I just did ayahuasca and I'm like an
Yeah.
80-year-old shaman,
Yeah.
just like imparting wisdom. And I'm 9.
That's me now, but with my older siblings. That's me as a
Yeah,
younger sibling. I'm like, "Let me teach you something."
you do have a lot of wisdom.
Thank you.
Well, what do you teach me about your experience seeing the Barbie movie? Because I know
Yes.
you said you just saw it. I saw it a
Uh-huh.
while ago when it was in theaters, but
Yeah.
it's fresher on your mind. So
Yes.
impart me some wisdom on your Barbie going
Yeah.
experience.
Well, I wanted to watch it when it came out in theaters, but I was in Europe on vacation when it came out, and then it's like all the spoilers are coming out, and I just never got around to seeing it. Also, going to the movies is like, honestly, for you and your partner, you're spending like $100, So I just wasn't in the place. So I said, I'll wait.
Yeah.
And I waited and I waited and I waited almost 3 months. And then I saw that it came to HBO. So I was like, okay, let me watch this. So my partner and I watched it
Oh yeah.
last night. I'll say ahead of time, I'm a huge fan of Ryan Gosling.
As am
That's
I.
that's my guy. Like that's like I I don't know. I just love the man. Like that's my one guy.
Yeah.
The holy grail of
Quick,
men to me.
quick question because we could both answer this equivocally
Yeah.
because you Okay, so tell me this.
Okay.
As a lesbian,
Yeah.
and I'll answer as a straight
Yeah.
guy, does Ryan Gosling's looks cross the boundary of sexuality for you? Do you look at him and go, as a human being, he's so hot that sexuality does not matter? It's
Yeah.
just that is a hot piece of ass.
He's definitely, like, objectively very attractive. So and I've always thought that. I but n honestly, I think what it is for me is, like, I wish I was Ryan Gosling. That's more
Okay,
of
so
what it
you
is. I'm like, I wanna be him, not be
gotcha.
on him. I wanna be him. What about
Yeah.
you?
If I could be in him and on him at the same
That would
time
be
and be
awesome,
him,
right?
yeah, the trifecta. I mean, talk about the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. If you did
Yeah.
that, Ryan Gosling, inside, outside, and on top, and you
Mhm.
know, I think I I I see Ryan Gosling, and there are. I feel like every straight guy says this, where they're like, oh, they're just like, you know, I'm so straight. Even Ryan Gosling, no, I wouldn't do it. Like, not even Hugh
Okay.
Jackman, Ryan Gosling, like insert X celebrity, good looking. I feel like no one. I don't like to live in a world of absolutes. So
Mhm.
like, I don't think anyone's a hundred
You don't wanna
percent gay or a
restrict
100%
yourself.
straight. Yeah, I think like if you think you're 100% straight, you just haven't seen the person yet that you would want to stick your toe in the water with.
Oh, I
I
thought you were
I
sticking your toe elsewhere. I was like, "Oh,
well
okay."
the water is where my right toe goes, and then the
Okay.
left toe is reserved for deeper and
Yeah.
darker waters.
Gotcha.
But I think I would put Ryan Gosling in that category where it's like he's he's at the precipice of guys who are 99.8% straight that are looking, they're just like maybe midlife crisis, or they're looking to switch something up.
Yeah.
And the introduction to them exploring their sexuality is like, I think Ryan Gosling is hot as fuck. And
Yeah.
I don't feel sexually attracted, but I feel like he's just a
In the
beautiful
right time,
specimen.
in the right place.
Yeah, give me a Bud Light and a half, and
Yeah.
anything can happen,
Yeah.
especially in the morning because I intermittent fast, so I'm on an empty stomach. So 1.5 beers, it's like you're feeling it a little bit.
You never
You
know what could
can let
happen.
some magic happen. Yeah.
I don't think I could have any form of intercourse with Ryan Gosling, but who's to say? I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know if there's any guy. I don't think like it would be. I think Ryan Gosling, I just like, yeah, I'm like, it'd be cool if I had been born Ryan Gosling instead of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if there's any. I'm trying to think of like, is there any celebrity guy? Because he is like my favorite celebrity guy, but I'm like, is there any guy that I'm like, maybe I'd get like sexually curious about? But like, I'd be cool
Yeah,
to
like
like watch. Like, I would be fine. Seeing him in the nude would be a treat. But do I
yeah.
want to go beyond that? I don't think so.
Yeah, I feel the same way where it's like there's this thing before attraction where it's someone so beautiful that
Mhm.
you just want to look at them.
Yeah.
And that applies to men and women, where there's just a certain level where it's almost like looking at a statue in a museum, or like a painting,
Mhm.
where you're just like, you're so hot, you're so just aesthetically
Mhm.
pleasing, that this is not the primal urge of I want to mate with you. This is something different. This is like a peasant recognizing beauty. That's the way I would put it with
Exactly.
with Ryan
Yeah.
Gosling. It's the same way, you know, almost like a sunset. Like I don't look at the most beautiful sunsets I've ever seen and I'm like, oh, I want to be inside the fucking
I
sun.
wanna
I want to
fuck
stick my
that sunset.
but I'm like, I can't look away. I can't look
Yeah.
away. Like I'm try
It's
I've been here
beautiful.
for 45 minutes. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
that's the way.
Mhm. I I agree. I also felt like the counterpart in this film, I feel maybe a little bit differently about. Big fan of Margot Robbie as well. She's gorgeous and honestly a perfect Barbie, I must say. I
Yeah.
was like, you really are like the perfect Barbie. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I got around to watching the film. We watched the whole thing. I because I waited so long, I knew that it was kind of like a musical. Like there was I mean, is it classified as a musical? It's got to be classified as a musical, right? I mean, Ken is up there singing, dancing.
Towards the end, yeah. I don't know if it's more classified as a musical or a comedy.
It could be it's not a comedy, right? It was funny. But
Yeah.
what the hell? I mean, we
'Cause
got to ask Greta Gerwig herself because she's
I mean, there are weird classifications. The Martian was classified as a comedy one year. I'm
that's
like, how the
true.
fuck is a Martian? So who knows? But I actually felt a little differently about the Barbie movie. And by the way, I just want to say that shows that there's no absolutes with sexuality because I'm a straight guy and I'm in a film that Margot Robbie is in, one of the hottest women of all time. I opened up my opinion by going on a 10-minute rant about how hot Ryan Gosling
Yeah.
is. So, you know,
We're
nothing's
objectifying men on this podcast, not
yeah,
women.
exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
I will say Margot Robbie, I'm much more into like I'm more attracted to her in a role like Wolf of Wall Street or I, Tanya, where she's more trashy. Like I don't know,
Oh,
like to
okay.
me,
You like the
like
trashy vibes.
she's still hot as shit. And don't get me wrong, like I do it
You
a
wanted her to
thousand
be
times all
trashy
day.
Barbie.
Yeah, like Kate McKinnon
I
was
loved
turning me on
Weird
more than
Barbie.
Barbie.
Yeah.
I was
No,
like,
me too, dude. I was like
yeah,
halfway through the movie, I was like, I love Weird Barbie. Weird
yeah.
Barbie's my Barbie.
Yeah. Like you'd have a great night with Margot Robbie as Barbie, but you would tell your friends for the rest of your life the night you had with Kate McKinnon.
Absolutely.
That would be just unreal.
Yeah.
Um
Agreed.
but in terms of the my reaction to the movie, I actually felt that Margot Robbie was she's of course great actress, one of my favorite, a good Barbie. I thought after all of the buildup to the Barbie movie, where I'm just like hearing about, like this is, Margot Robbie's in it, like she's incredible. She's like billed as Barbie. People are saying, it's gonna be like this iconic feminist movie, and it did have a lot of feminism undertones and things like that. I walked out of that movie thinking that Ryan Gosling stole the show. Like Margot Robbie played Barbie and Ryan Gosling became Ken. I think
Yeah.
that other people maybe could have stepped in and played Barbie in the same range as Margot Robbie.
Mhm.
I don't know if anyone could have played Ken as well as Ryan Gosling. I think it was almost like a Heath Ledger Joker
Yeah.
situation where I can't imagine anyone else stepping into that role.
I agree with you. A lot of people prior to its release were very anti Ryan Gosling for Ken, perhaps because, he is getting a little bit, I mean, he looks fantastic, but he's getting on the older side. So I think people were apprehensive, but Ryan Gosling has been in the game since the Mickey Mouse Club. Like he's been in the game. If you don't know this, people, like Ryan Gosling and Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears, when they were kids, were like all in the same circle, like on Mickey Mouse Club, acting, singing, dancing. So he's been in this kind of like dancing, performing game for a while. He did La La Land prior to Barbie,
Yeah.
which is also like a musical. He's meant for this. And that was like my greatest takeaway from the film was genuinely how cool it was to see the actors like do all of that. And I agree in
Yeah.
you saying that like Ryan Gosling kind of like ate up that film because he really did. He put his whole
Yeah.
bussy in that film. I mean, he was
He
singing,
was
he was
just throwing it
dancing.
around. Yeah.
Yeah, he just ate it up. So I do agree in that sense that like he did kind of overpower, but Margot when she gets like emotional kind of through the movie, that was touching to me. I was
Yeah,
I she sold that to me for sure.
yeah. The end scene with Billie Eilish, that song playing in the background
Great
was
song.
great with
Yeah.
Margot Robbie crying as Barbie. Yeah, I not to take away anything from Margot Robbie. I just think that no matter who played Barbie, the three words that people are going to remember from that movie 100 years from now
I'm
are
just
"I'm
Ken.
just Ken."
Yeah,
I'm just
exactly.
Ken.
Yeah.
Anywhere else, I'd be a 10. I walked out.
That's
I
how I
play that
feel
song.
about existing in this world, right? It's
Yeah,
like I'm just
a
Cam.
hundred
Anywhere
percent.
else, I'd be a 10. But instead,
You
I'm
are a 10.
here. I get hate crimed every now and then, just living this
You're
life.
still you're still a 10 though.
Wow,
When
thank you.
when when people are spewing that hate, it's just because they're threes, and anywhere else they'd be a two.
Yeah, I'm just
And
like
y- y-
Barbie. That's all. Just
yeah,
wake up, people.
100%. Yeah. What did you I was going to say, do you think that the movie, I don't know, there was a lot of hate about the movie, and I purposely tried to not watch anything
Mhm.
leading up to it. I saw a couple headlines inevitably because as we're looking through shit for the podcast, I see like, Ben Shapiro rants about the
Oh my
Barbie
god.
movie,
Yeah. I'm
and
sure he
I'm just
did.
like, and just like things from both sides where I'm like, I should probably just like go in with a clear head. I don't want
Yeah.
someone else's opinion. And after I finished the movie, I was like, what is there to hate about it? It didn't really strike me as a ultra feminist movie. Like people tried to paint it, or
Mhm.
like other, talking points from the right
Yeah.
and the left. Like it really just seemed pretty straightforward where Barbie was just bopping around doing her thing. She gets into the real world
Mhm.
and she finds out, guys
The
run it, and then
patriarchy.
Ken tries to fit in, and he finds out, you can't just ride a horse and become the CEO of Lehman Brothers, even though he'd probably be a better CEO because Lehman Brothers went under during the financial crisis. So that's not a good example.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it was wholesome. It was really funny in parts. I think Ryan Gosling, again, just unironically, I listen to "I'm Just Ken" just sometimes in the morning or when I'm
Just
working
get you
out. I'll
going.
throw it on. It's such a good song, and Mark Ronson wrote it, who
Yep.
writes with Lady Gaga. Like,
Legend.
just
Amy
made it an
Winehouse.
absolute banger. Yeah, it's like a banger. And I think that Ryan Gosling, if you're judging on what makes Best Actor, and you forget about like the person in real life and that you just see them as the character, I think Ryan Gosling should legitimately be in the running for Best Actor for
Mhm.
playing Ken.
Yeah, I agree. When is the Oscars though? Because sometimes when is the 2024 Oscars? Cuz
I
sometimes
think
when
they're
they
usually in February,
Okay, it's in March. Okay, that's good. So it is
March.
going to
Yeah,
make an Oscar run. Because sometimes films that come out, like if the Oscars is going to be in March and the film comes out like in June and it has all the way
yeah,
to March until the Oscars, like it won't be in the Oscar run because
yeah,
it's like so far. It just our attention spans. Like it needs to come out within like 6 months of the Oscars. So yeah, no, I would say that probably Margot and Ryan will be up for Oscars and Greta Gerwig, the
yeah,
director, absolutely.
yeah. It was a good movie. I think so they did this with the Golden Globes. I don't know if they'll do this with the Oscars, but I saw that they started a category for best film that affects pop culture.
Hmm.
So
Oh,
like a lot of the
okay.
films, like usually the films that are up for best picture of the year, you got to have a suicide, you throw in a disability in there, you mix it
The
together,
Whale.
basically like stir, yeah, yeah, you're basically like stirring a pot of like all these buzz points,
Yeah.
and those are usually all of the movies up for best picture. So the Golden Globes made a best category for movies that are, basically like lighting pop culture on fire, which Barbie would be in. So
Mhm.
I think that if you're looking at the difficulty of the role, and you take something like being Ken, where
Yeah.
you have to dance, sing,
Yes.
get to 4%
He
body
went full
fat.
Broadway on that.
Oh, 100%. And so I think that should be in there regardless of the the categories, like just best role, best
Yeah.
actor or best movie for sure.
And I would love that for Ryan Gosling to have an Oscar. That would make me so proud because I don't think he has one. It's kind of like Leonardo DiCaprio. It took like so long when he honestly deserved one prior, like when he was a kid for even like What's
Yeah.
Eating Gilbert Grape or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, my overall opinion on the film was it was good. It was funny. I yeah, I mean, I get maybe people like Ben Shapiro having some opinions about it. But but really it
Yeah.
was just like, I mean, the plot is just like Barbie goes to the real world. The real world is obviously meant for men, which like open your eyes, people. I mean, let's just take a look around. I think the
Yeah.
world still might be largely designed for men. Um, and yeah, that's just kind of what it was. So I
Yeah.
don't think it was that big of a statement, but I love like telling the story.
Yeah. And even on the other side too, where you have people ranting, this is a feminist masterpiece. Like this is a movie like giving women its place. I watched the movie and I'm like both of them kind of get shit on in the movie. Like Barbie goes in the real world and she gets catcalled and like all that shit. And then
Yeah.
Ken is basically told like you're just a handsome idiot. Like you can't
Yeah.
actually do
Like
anything.
you
You have no
literally have no
applicable
role.
skills. Yeah, like you can't just be a man and go to the top. Like you have to at least put in some work to do
Yeah.
it. So I left the movie going like I don't really because I watched some of the reactions after and I'm like, if you just watch that as a movie, I didn't leave it going, this is a piece of feminist
Yeah.
garbage
Yeah,
fire
yeah,
or
yeah.
like this is an ultra feminist movie. I was just like, this is just a pretty like a quality movie with quality actors and it was fun.
I agree. I see what it's doing, obviously, and I do feel like I know some women that saw it and then like teared up at the end and like really felt it. I personally didn't, but I don't know if maybe like it has something to do with like I'm already not like your average girl. So I've
You're
been
not like the
feeling
others.
I know. I'm a different Barbie. I am next level weird Barbie. So I just think maybe for me, like life's already been hard, like, and I've never been out here trying to like fit in. I mean, when I was a kid, sure, but as an adult,
Yeah.
there's no option for me to fit in. Like, I'm
That's the
not,
best option. You
yeah. So it just is
you
what
just
it
make your own
is.
path.
I think maybe other women like really felt it more feminine women, more just heteronormative women felt it a little bit deeper
Yeah.
because they probably try to fit in these boxes more often. For me, I'm already outside of the box. So I wasn't fully touched by the movie in that way. So,
Yeah.
maybe I just can't. Maybe you and I just can't, like, maybe we just don't get it fully. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it seems like me and you kind
Yeah.
of have similar opinions on it.
No, I needed a weird Ken to offset the weird Barbie so I could
Yeah.
be like, "Oh, there
Alan.
I am." There.
I loved
Yeah.
Alan. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Um, so
Yeah. Let's get
speaking of
into
musical,
some stories.
yeah, and don't get fooled. This is a Christmas episode. It was an absolute gift. The Barbie rant that we just went on. So it's
And
still Christmas
also,
themed
yeah,
because we're
watch
presenting
it.
you.
It's on HBO. You
Yeah,
can watch it this
give a gift
holiday
to
season.
yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. Speaking of musical stuff, so this is less of a story, more of an observation that I've been making over the past couple weeks. So as I've been doing some absent-minded stuff like editing or just answering emails that I don't really have to pay 100% attention to, I've been listening to Christmas music in the background.
Mhm.
And I go on Spotify and I just typed in, Christmas playlist and then it recommends the playlist. And these are just regular Christmas playlists. Nothing like I didn't type in sexy Christmas playlist. I didn't type in family
Okay.
Christmas playlist. It's just like this was a playlist that your aunt would get
Mhm.
when she types in Christmas to Spotify, and then you put it on, and everyone from 5 to 65 years old is listening to it at the same time. So I'm listening to some of these songs in the background, and I'm starting to pay attention to some of the lyrics.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I realized the genre of sexy Christmas music that gets passed off into the regular Christmas playlists. Like, there's a
Yeah.
lot of sexy Christmas songs that get trafficked into just like these wholesome Christmas playlists that kind of fly under the radar. And so I wanted to sort of walk through a timeline of how the lyrics have gotten raunchier and raunchier through a few songs that I've picked out.
Yeah.
So first, we have Mariah Carey's, of course, All I Want for Christmas. This is in the year 1994. So this is almost 30 years ago.
Mhm.
And the lyrics, just a portion of this song, of course, everyone already knows this already. She says, I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. I don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I just want you for my own. And
Yeah.
so you get like a little bit of insinuation. She's like saying it. She's obviously singing it way more sexy than I am in the song, but like you get the idea. It's like you're the present for Christmas. It's very. It's not. She's not directly saying let's
Mhm.
just bang bussies under the Christmas tree. It's
Yeah.
like insinuated. And then let's fast forward 20 years. You have Ariana Grande, Santa Tell Me,
I love that
and so
song. Banger.
it is a banger. And so the lyrics go, oh, I want to have him beside me, like, oh, 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 on the 25th by that fireplace, oh, 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 but I don't want a new broken heart. This year I've got to be smart. Ooh, baby. And so you get like a little bit more sexiness. You get a
Mhm.
little bit more of insinuation of like, all right, like this is gonna go down. We're in the holiday spirit, but I'm also feeling your spirit, and we'll see where this goes. This is the last one I picked out from 2022. Again, these are all just on like generic Christmas playlists.
Mhm.
Uh, this is Sabrina Carpenter, A Nonsense Christmas, 2022.
Mhm.
Snowflakes in my stomach when we're kissing.
All
When
right.
you're coming down when you're coming down the chimney, oh, it feels so good. I
Oh,
need that.
Sabrina.
I need that. Yeah, she says, when you're coming down the chimney, oh, it feels so good. I need that Charles Dickens.
I love that.
And
Very
there's more.
creative.
I'm talking opposite of small. I'm talking big snowballs.
Hell yeah.
You got a new toy for me. I'm out here trimming tree.
Oh,
So
yes. Yes, girl.
so these are all like they're all three in the same playlist. Like again, if you're just like a grandma that's looking on Spotify, like what are the kids listening, and you just play this,
They wouldn't
you
even
kind of
know.
lose. Yeah, you kind of lose track of the lyrics because it's just
Yeah.
background music. But then when you actually listen to it, you're like, there are
Wait.
levels to
Trying to get
this
some Santa
naughty
Claus
music.
penis right now.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going from like 1994, All I Want for Christmas, of like, oh, you're the one for me, that's I'll leave it at that. Then Ariana Grande is like, all right, you're the one for me, but like, let's also become one for each other, and we're not going to get into
Yeah.
details. And then Sabrina Carpenter's full on like, I'm shaving my
Give me them
pussy.
big old
My
snowballs.
pussy is the Christmas tree. Yeah, give me your snowballs, fill me up like Charles Dickens, and come in my chimney. And
Yeah.
this is just like playing at like kids are opening
Wow.
presents on
I can't wait.
Christmas with this in the
I'm
background.
definitely gonna go put that on when we finish this
Yeah.
podcast. It's funny that you brought this up because I recently saw a song. It's a rendition of "Baby It's Cold Outside," which I'm pretty sure. Let me look up the original lyrics because I think the original lyrics are a little bit suggestive,
Mm.
where it's basically, let's see, original lyrics. Yeah, so it's basically a little bit suggestive of like, she's like, "Oh, I can't stay." He's like, "Oh, but stay. Like, it's cold outside, baby." Like, and it's kind of, it's like the song itself is a little bit non-consensual vibes, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So
Yep.
then there's this newer rendition with Kelly Clarkson and John Legend. And basically the whole song, I'll read some of the lyrics, but the whole song basically takes that original, but like consistently is like, don't worry, we consent. We're adults. Don't worry. So
Yeah.
here's some lyrics. And it kind of, I'll say a sentence like, I really can't stay. That's Kelly Clarkson. And then he goes,
Yeah.
baby, it's cold outside. That's John Legend. Um, so it's, I really can't stay. I've got to go away. He's like, oh, I can call you, but I can call you a ride. My mom will start to worry. I'll call the car and tell him to hurry. My daddy will be
Mm.
pacing the floor. Wait, what are you still living at home for? So really, I'd better scurry. Your driver, his name is Murray, but maybe just a half drink more. Oh, we're both adults, so who's keeping score? What will my
Yeah.
friends think? I think they should
Yeah.
rejoice. So basically, the whole song is just her being like, I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe I should go home. Like, I'm not sure if I'm feeling it. He's like, we're
Yeah.
adults. Like, let's fuck.
Yeah.
Like, let's go.
Yeah. It would be a better song if they said if those were the lyrics. Like let's fuck, let's go, let's stop. I feel like it's worse if
Gotta
you
keep it
sort of
kosher. Gotta keep it kosher, Zach.
I think like if you have songs that were just made in a different time,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like, yeah, this dude was born in 1892, whoever wrote this song, and it
Yeah.
came out in what, like the 30s or something. So
Yeah.
like women didn't have jobs when the guy was writing
He had
this
nowhere
song.
else to be.
Yeah, yeah, he was like, "What? Like it's cold outside. Like where? Like what do you have to do? It's
Yeah. What are you
like
talking about?
where could you possibly have?" So I just think like just let the song just be out
Yeah.
there, and then just write a new song. Like write a song that's not try because it gets a little weird when you try to take something that was made 100 years ago and then you try to input 2023 morality on top of it where it's like
Exactly.
just
Like,
make something completely
yeah.
new, like just make it new
Yes.
from scratch.
That's what I
Yeah.
like. So when you brought up Ariana Grande's album, that she has a couple songs that are like renditions of old ones. And that came out like what, like honestly, like 2016 or something. It's kind of an older album.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like when artists make a new Christmas song and it's
Yeah.
good. So she did that really good, but I have to say, I mean, this Baby It's Cold Outside rendition, I kind of like because it's it's like still just as weird, but they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
but they have to really announce it." Like, I did try to call her an Uber. I swear.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
call her an Uber.
You all
Um,
saw it. You all saw it. That's like an ad
I
lib in the
started this
background. John
song.
Legend's like, you all saw it.
Yeah,
You
no,
saw me call
basically
that
that's
fucking
that's what
Uber.
it that's in the lyrics,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm down with the Christmas music. I'm a big fan of
Yeah.
holiday music, and honestly, the weirder the better for me, 'cause it that's part of the holiday spirit is getting a little weird.
Yeah. Getting a little weird. And I just want to say I I'm a fan of the sexy Christmas music. I think a lot of them are bops,
Mhm.
and I think it's just funny that it's on a playlist with jingle bells, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden you're shuffling, and it shuffles, and then it's like, "Give me your big snowballs." And if I could just picture like a 5-year-old just hearing that, and then
I have
they're
no
just
idea.
repeating it, not knowing what it is,
Yeah.
like, "Big snowballs, mommy. Are you gonna trim your tree this year?" And she's like, "What the fuck? What is
Yeah.
he? How does he know about Manscaped?"
Yeah.
Um,
More
but
power
yeah.
to the Christmas music. The raunchier, the better.
Yeah, just an observation that it's just getting by 2030, like I honestly don't know where Christmas music will be. Like
Yeah.
I tried to imagine a verse from 2030, and
Mhm.
this is what I came up with. If Christmas music continues to get raunchier and raunchier.
Okay.
I wrote turn that frown upside down. Santa's coming all over your town. Your dad likes to watch as Santa takes your mom to Pound Town. Turns out she's a squirter. What Mrs. Claus doesn't know won't hurt her unless she wants to join and stay for the ultimate Merry Christmas four-way. And so that's my
This
addition.
is
That's like, if any
good.
songwriters, if Mark Ronson listens to this podcast and you're like, oh, I got a melody for that, Dunna Squirter, hit us up and
Yeah.
we'll write
I
something.
can't wait. Like, gonna have to throw some why am I for non-copyright Christmas music over that and make our own. We could
Yeah.
make our own Christmas song. What are we waiting on, Zach?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just
Stop.
came up with this now, but we could.
Yeah, we should. I think we gotta we gotta say, all right, stop remixing these 100-year-old rape songs and just lean
That's
into the
right.
freak consensual, just like
Mhm.
just the raunchiest consensual shit that you can come up with in your own twisted mind. I want to hear that. I don't want to hear like these safe ad libs in
Yeah.
century year old out of touch songs. I want to hear John Legend, like, stop. People are gonna love this. It's gonna be easy. It's gonna be safe. Like, people will be like, "Oh, you're such a good person for remixing this song and making it more palatable." Like, no, tell me how you would screw Mrs. Claus if you're John Legend. I want to hear in detail if Chrissy Teigen. I want to
That
hear
is her
you
name.
tell
Yeah.
me. I want to hear you tell me just how it goes down on Christmas when the kids are away and the presents are done and you got one more present to unwrap. Tell me how it goes, John Legend. Just
Yeah.
give me an inside scoop.
Whatever happened to just like making something like rated R, or like
Yeah.
adult rated? Why can't we do that more often instead of
Ads
everything
probably.
PG?
Probably ads or reach. You just get more money when everyone can listen
Yeah,
to it.
especially for Christmas. Like, but
Yeah.
there are ways to make this stuff funny and raunchy, but also tasteful. There are so many holiday movies that are actually so funny and adult, but
Yeah.
like kids watch them and have like no idea what's going on. There's ways to do that.
That's
We
part
need to up the creativity.
that's the part of the fun of being an adult, is revisiting movies that you watched when you were 10 and you're just like, how did I miss that? Like, all these sexual innuendos.
Yeah.
That, to me, I agree, that's true art, is when you can make something that everyone can enjoy, but it's not corny for the
Mhm.
adults. I think Andy Warhol said art is getting away with it. So
Yeah.
if you make something and
Yeah.
people are like clearly offended, that's maybe it could be good, or maybe that's just a sign that you didn't do it as well as you thought.
Yeah.
You didn't get away with it. If you made it better, less people would probably be pissed.
I think that's true, actually. Like, so I
Yeah.
agree with that. Um, while people are creating their holiday music, listening to their holiday music, maybe said holiday music is getting, your parents a little riled up. Meemaw and Papaw are getting a little horny. You never know. I just wanted
Oh yeah.
to announce a PSA that
Hit me with it.
um, holiday season is the biggest time for holiday heart attacks. Like,
Ah.
there's a huge uptick in heart attacks on like Christmas Eve and around Christmas. So there's a 37% increase in heart attacks on Christmas Eve. And
Wow.
Christmas Day and the day after Christmas are the two heart attack holidays of the year.
Mm.
So it's about, I mean,
That's
just
crazy.
everybody say I love you to your family, because you never know who's dropping dead this year. So be
Yeah.
careful.
You never know.
Yeah.
That's a good excuse to not get your family at too exciting of a present, like to not spend that much money.
Yeah.
because you're like, oh, I didn't want you to
I
get
thought
too
you might
excited
die.
and your heart to give out. Yeah, I thought your heart was gonna give out
Mhm.
on Christmas Day, so I gave you this crappy president instead,
Yeah.
out of the kindness of my heart.
Yeah, and this news comes from the American Heart Association. They say there are more cardiac deaths on Christmas Day than any other day of the year. So, this is serious, people. You need to watch your
Yeah,
gift giving. Watch your Christmas snacking as well, because I think
yeah,
what the American, what was it? The American Heart Association,
yeah,
they're saying like it's a lot about like I guess, routine upset. Like, of course, you're being a little bit more lazy on the holidays. There's football. You might be jumping up and down watching TV, hooting and hollering. You're
yeah,
eating. All you're doing is eating and drinking, usually.
yeah.
Um,
There,
so yeah, and there's a lot of salt in like everything we
th-
eat.
yeah, and there's a lot of nap time during the holiday season, so I'm
Hmm.
wondering how many people just pass away in their sleep. Like grandpa dies on the couch and has a
The
heart
lazy
attack,
boy. Yeah.
and he's been dead for 4 hours before
Hmm.
anyone realizes. I wonder what the percentages of people that just die after just an insanely huge Christmas dinner and just slowly slip away while Home Alone 2 is playing in the background.
Yeah. No, and I was also
Yeah.
thinking that there's this thing that men like can die while like older men, they die while having sex because like they're
Mm.
getting a lot of cardio that their heart isn't used to anymore. And so I'm just
Yeah.
wondering if we're playing this horny holiday music and then like maybe it's all linked. These songs are killing people. These horny holiday songs that
I think you're
grandpa's
right.
listening to, getting all sauced up, and now him and grandma are going to freaking town, and
Yeah.
they're having heart attacks.
Yeah. I think, I think you're exactly right. I think when you have things playing in the background where grandma and grandpa are looking into each other's eyes and grandma's like, there's snowflakes in my stomach when we're kissing,
Yeah,
and grandpa's like, I'll
haven't
put
trimmed
something
that
else in your
tree
stomach
in
if you want.
years.
Yeah, and that's fine with me. I'll take you right now in the bathroom if you
That's right.
really want to do this. And combine that with Blue Chew and Viagra and like all these things that have
Yeah,
essentially let you fuck until the moment that you die.
right.
That's a perfect recipe for just going out with a bang, literally, on Christmas Day.
Yeah. So I'm just letting everybody know now, like, just say I love you to your family. You never know. This Christmas season could be the last. Sorry
Yeah,
to get dark, but know that potentially they could go out on the highest note possible.
yeah. And look, I'm just wondering because there are more and more people, like you see these holiday videos where people are making TikToks of getting presents or their dinners and stuff like that. I'm just wondering, with more people becoming influencers and posting videos on the holidays, if they're going to catch someone just dropping the floor in the background, like where a mom influencer
Yeah.
is like showing the spread of Christmas dinner, and then in the corner you see the moment where grandpa just like clutches his chest and drops, and it's just like you now have all of this video content, um
Yeah.
of people just not being able to handle it in their old age, just the food and the
Mhm.
Cialis combined, and now you have it all on camera.
It's definitely a possibility. I think we get more and more of that when it's like we might not catch the death on camera, but we at least see like the buildup because we're seeing the full holiday food spread. We're seeing Papa yell at the TV because his football team's losing by 2 scores. Like you're seeing the
Yeah,
buildup. And then all the next thing you know, there's the obituary coming in. And we're like, we
yeah,
saw it. I told you.
yeah. After this PSA, now at Christmas dinner, every time I see a person over the age of 60 cough, I'm just gonna be like, "This is it. This
No,
this is what they were talking
yeah,
about."
it was shocking news. I didn't know that like Christmas Day was like the biggest heart attack day of the year. So I
Yeah.
was shocked. I thought, all right, I better let somebody else know. I mean, God forbid, we don't want
Yeah.
it to be a surprise. You should be on the
Yeah.
lookout for this stuff.
I mean, if you're past a certain age, it's like, why even try to limit the dinner? Why just not, if you're gonna go out with a bang, eat 7 slices of pumpkin pie, finish the Christmas ham,
Eat the is
have more
7
sweet
slices not
potatoes.
90% of the pie? Because wouldn't you think, like,
That
isn't a
is.
pie, like, 8 slices usually?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're leaving one for the
Yeah, you don't
11
wanna be
other
rude.
relatives
Yeah, you
sitting
gotta
around the
leave
table.
one.
Yeah, let them fight it. You'll be dead. Let them fight over it.
Exactly.
You'll be slipping into a food coma. Your heart will have already given out while, people are worrying about you. They won't even notice that there's only one slice of pumpkin pie left. So
Right?
it'll
They're not
be,
gonna blame you,
you're out.
right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you might as well gorge. You don't want to go out on an empty stomach.
Yeah.
You don't want to be going out with half a pumpkin pie slice on your plate. You
Right?
don't
Like,
want
when
the
you
heart
really
attack to start
wanted
then.
it, if you really wanted the whole pumpkin pie,
Yeah.
just allow yourself that treat. If you're planning your
You
exit of the planet, you know,
yeah.
that is.
And yeah, and you want to time it. There's always that moment where you're on the couch after Thanksgiving dinner, after Christmas dinner, you're so goddamn full and you recline back and you just think, kill me. Like, I can't imagine recovering from this meal. And
Mhm.
then if you're 85 years old and you have that thought and God listens, what a better way to go out than just with a full stomach of
Like, you
delicious
had
food.
full control. You
Yeah.
basically planned it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Essentially. So thank you for that PSA.
of
I
course.
think if we have people of all ages listening to this podcast, if you're up there or you have a heart condition and you're like, all right, where am I on the spectrum? Am I savable
Yeah.
and I should watch what I eat,
Is
or
it
I'm past the
past?
point of
Yeah.
no return? Let me make sure
Christmas could be
this
your
is it.
lucky day.
Yeah, I don't want to spend next Christmas in the hospital. I want to just flick my life off
Mhm.
like a pumpkin pie switch. I just want to go from
Right?
happy and jolly and full to darkness, and that's the best way to do it.
Go out with
So
a bang, and may you
yeah,
rest in
100%.
peace.
Yeah, throw some Cialis in there. Bang, just get
Donate
wild
your
for one
life
last time.
savings to us.
Yeah,
Do
give it
that
all.
before
Give
you
us your
die.
fidelity. Give
Yeah.
us your fidelity lot. Yeah, 100%. Could you imagine if like your grandpa comes up to you when you're 13 years old and he's like, "Look, I'm not making it past tonight. Do you want $400,000?"
I
And
would
you're
love
just like,
that.
"What?" You're just like 12 years old, and he's just like, "Look, I just set you up a Chase account. I know your parents haven't set you up with one yet because you're 12, but here's $400,000. Use it well. I'm gonna go in the bathroom and fuck your grandma one last time, and then I'm out of here." And you're just like,
My god.
"Okay."
Yeah, I mean, you can
But that
spare me that detail, but I'll take the
yeah.
money.
And you'd be grateful. You'd look back on it and be like, "Thank God,
Thank
grandma
God.
set me up, or grandpa and grandpa set me up a checking account, and now I have no student loans, and I'm good to go."
That's right. I would be
Yeah,
blessed. Blessed be.
yeah. So speaking of dying, speaking of the afterlife,
All right.
we have a story here. Uh, the title of this is "A Satanic Display at
Mm.
Iowa Capitol was vandalized beyond repair and arrests were made." So you
Oh.
had a bunch of people worshiping a satanic ritual. Um, and this reads, on Thursday, the Satanic Temple of Iowa announced that their display at the Iowa Capitol had been significantly damaged. The controversial display, which Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds called, quote, objectionable, featured a ram's head covered with mirrors on a mannequin before being damaged. Organizers say it's a symbol to the right of religious freedom. So, first of all, I'm like, I've heard of the ram's head with Satanism, but
Mm.
I've never heard of the mirrors surrounding the ram's head. So I'm confused with, what are you trying to worship, because if it's surrounded in mirrors, you're looking at
Your good
yourself
looks,
and you're like, I'm
obviously.
the god. And then you're not seeing the ram, which is supposed to represent Satan or something. So I'm like, I'm very confused where the mirrors come from in all of this. I've like it's just like a ram's head with mirrors surrounding it, with people
Mhm.
kneeling down and worshiping Satan. So that was just the first thing I thought reading this.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at it now, and it's the ram's head itself is sculpted out of pieces of mirror.
Ah,
So,
okay.
I mean, I'm sure you can probably see your reflection in it, but y I don't know, I'm sure it's probably still symbolic. I don't know what it means.
Okay. Yeah, the story that I read, it had a video that just showing like someone reacting, or some reporter reacting to the news. I didn't actually see the ram's head. So it's basically made out of mirrors,
Yes,
the ram's head.
it
Okay.
appears so, yeah. It
I
looks
mean,
cool.
I'm on board with it. If we're going to preach the right to religious freedom, and you have God versus Satan, I think you need to respect the right of people to support the other team. If you're like, look, I read the Bible when I was younger, and what spoke to me most was the hellish fires of hell, and I want to,
Yeah.
you know, spend eternity partying with the degenerates, and that's for me. I think you should have the right to do so.
I mean, my theory has always been that, like, Satan is actually a cool dude. Like, I'm not religious at all, so I don't really believe in any of the hoopla. However, like, would it not make sense that, like, first of all, isn't Satan is Lucifer, a fallen angel, for one, but
Yeah.
is he not doing the Lord's work more than the Lord himself? I mean, who else is going to oversee this city of hooligans that is hell? I mean, is he not doing a tougher job than the Lord himself? That's my
Yeah.
thought.
I
I'm like,
mean,
why don't we love Satan is the man. I mean, he's like taking all these l- terrible people and just keeping them down there. You know what I mean? Like, is that not
yeah,
good work?
you're right. There's no easier job than what God has, which is keeping a room of goody two shoes in line. The easiest,
Right?
because no one wants to do anything bad. So it's like, what are you watching? You could just like, no
Yeah.
wonder God fucking took forever to make the earth, because you don't really have to do anything other than just watching a couple people here and there that are not gonna do anything out of line anyway. Then you have Satan, where he's like, oh my god, like someone's committing arson over here, another guy's fucking a kid,
Right?
like
He
this
has a
guy just stole
tough
a car,
gig.
like how do I yeah, like he's just racing over everywhere. He's the true, the goat
That's who we
of
should
the
be
the Bible.
saying thanks to. Like, thank you so much for keeping
Yeah.
these bad people in line. I mean, thank you. So I've
Yeah.
always like that's genuinely been my logical explanation of
Yeah.
this. So, yeah, I'm still waiting to understand religion, but I do feel like Satan is the man.
Yeah. No, I actually, I forget if we discussed this on a previous episode, but I actually got in trouble in Catholic school. I was in 10th grade maybe, and I got asked to leave a class because I was asking my religion teacher, I was to basically saying, if Satan is the overlord of the degenerates,
Mhm.
if he's in charge of all the shit, the people that have done like the worst things in life, why would he want to punish them if Satan is one of them? If he's also a degenerate, like wouldn't hell be one big party? And I
Mm.
did not get an answer to that.
Yeah,
Instead,
also.
I was asked to leave the class, and I was like, I think
They never
that's
wanna
a
answer
perfectly
the tough
legitimate
questions.
question. Catholic school is all about like acceptance and finding yourself, or finding the answer in God. But then when you ask the question that there's no answer
Mhm.
to, or maybe they don't like the answer,
Yep.
it's always, oh, you don't believe, or God works in mysterious ways. which is complete bullshit. It's like,
God
how is
works.
that an
So do
answer?
I. I work in mysterious ways as well.
Yeah, and my mysterious ways is I'm worshiping Satan now. He's won me
Yeah.
over. Hail Satan. He's much cooler. I'm a degenerate. Who would you rather hang out with? Fucking like who's a goody two shoes that's been, prevalent in history? Who's someone that hasn't committed genocide, or like a leader who's
Gandhi.
hasn't cheated on their wife? I think Gandhi actually did some fucked up shit.
I'm not
But
sure. It's been a while since I was in 8th grade history class. So,
it I think it's like recent where people are like, yeah, Gandhi was like married to a 13-year-old or something. I
oh, they
forget
always are, aren't they?
um exactly what it was. But let's say who's like a goody two
That's literally
shoes?
all I had was Gandhi. Who else?
Gandhi. Maybe there's no people we could think of because no
No,
one
there's
wants to
no one.
study the history of good people.
No,
Um,
the only
but
pure
but
spirits in this world are like children because
yeah,
that's it. They're the only innocent ones.
who do you want to hang out with for eternity? A bunch of 7-year-olds, and mix in some aborted fetuses, and one guy who ratted on his friends in elementary school that
All
no
the
one likes, but he
snitches.
went to church every Sunday. Yeah,
Mhm.
all the snitches and the children. Or do you want to go to hell and hang out with fucking like Johnny Cash and,
Yeah, I
fucking
you
like
don't gotta tell me
Napoleon?
twice.
And yeah, the like
I'm going where the
degeneracy comes
party
with
is.
cool.
That's all I'm going. So, give me the address to the party. I'm
Yeah.
going that way.
Parties in heaven would be non-alcoholic beers, everyone's wearing the same white thing, and then if you say something out of line, there's some sort of soul buzzer where you just get like buzzed within the depths of your insides to not be able to say it, and until the dark thought passes, you just like aren't able to speak. You're just frozen in heaven. You're like, what the fuck is going on? And then you go to
Yeah.
hell, and you walk in the front door, and Satan just like is plowing Marilyn Monroe from behind while Johnny Cash is singing a ballad, and you have like all
Wow.
the drugs and the music and the party and the atmosphere. So
Mhm.
I'm on board with the people who are worshiping Satan.
Me too. I mean, they seem to make more sense to me than, the other way around.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I don't know what happens when we die. I don't think it's either of that, but I just hope it's a party.
yeah,
Wherever my soul goes, it better be a good fucking time.
yeah. There's a message from the Satanic Temple of Iowa
Okay.
that they posted on their Facebook page.
Mhm.
And so this was in response of their their sort of stuff getting destroyed. Their altar got destroyed. It the statue that was damaged was called the Baphomet statue,
Okay.
and they said on their Facebook page, "This morning we were informed by authorities that Baphomet in our holiday display was destroyed beyond repair. We are proud to continue our holiday display for the next few days that have been allotted. We ask that for safety, visitors travel together and use the 7 tenets as a reminder for empathy. In the knowledge that justice is being pursued the correct way through legal means." And it's like, society is just completely upside down when the Satanists are the most reasonable. Like when they get
Yes,
their
they
statue
always
destroyed and
are.
they're like, guys, don't retaliate. We're doing this the right way. We're gonna sue them. Don't go to their statue and burn that down either. Like they're making sense. They're worshiping
Yeah.
through empathy. So I'm like, this is how you
Yes.
know society is just completely
Reality.
screwed. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't really know much about like Satanism either. I'm sure there's characters in that are not cool either. But yeah, from a lot of what I've heard, they're always just like chill. They're like, we're just believing in like logic here.
Yeah. No, there is a slippery slope from Satanism to having sex with children. So I will
Yeah,
say that
well,
a lot
that
of those
isn't
things
Satanism, though. I feel like that's just
that's bad
pedophilia.
apples.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
just that's
yeah.
something else.
You see, yeah, you like when people are dancing around, like a fucking Satan statue and it's on fire and people are in robes, and then you hear the stories of the children that got abused and all this. Those they're just people using Satanism as a way to, do these terrible things. But honestly, like Satanism as at its heart, like imagine how much less war there would be if in response to getting attacked, the other side went, wait, hold on, guys, let's not be unreasonable. Let's remember the 7 tenets of empathy before we invade this country.
No, and
We'd have a
that's
lot less
what
wars.
I'm seeing here. So if you go to the satanictemple.com, it literally says the Satanic Temple encourages benevolence and empathy, rejects uh like a tyrannical authority, and advocates for practical common sense. Sign me
Yeah.
up. I mean
Yeah.
that sounds great.
Yeah.
I love common
I mean,
sense.
do we have any Satanists running for president in 2024? Because I want to hear what they have to say.
Yeah, I mean, we should find out. I don't know. We maybe let's join this club.
Yeah.
Let's join the
Let's start a dialogue.
Temple Club.
Let's start a dialogue with the Satanists. We'll send them a message on Facebook. We'll say, hey, we know you guys are good with empathy and you already have a group. We're good on social media. If you're trying to run a campaign, we could film some reels for you. We could make an Instagram, we could get Satanism more accepted by the mainstream for people to see what it is, because it does get a bad rap.
Yeah, and on the satanictemple.com, I mean, they have like you can become a member. Becoming a member is free. However, if you want the cool
Yeah.
little card that says you're a member, you got to donate like 50 bucks or something, 35 bucks, I'm not sure. They got stickers for sale. They got hot sauce for sale. Oh my god, this place is
Yeah.
great. I love it here. They got books,
Yeah.
candles. This is
Yeah.
my type of place. I mean,
Yeah. I
they got
mean,
it all.
yeah, there was no hot sauce at church when I was younger. There was no, candles,
Yeah.
barbecue, stuff like that. So
So who
it does sound like a fun
they
place.
like Krampus. And I this is a fun fact about me for real. I love Krampus. And my favorite, I have a big interest in the niche of horror Christmas movies. So the
Mm.
Krampus movie was like one of my favorites. I don't know why. I've always been so drawn to this. So they're big into Krampus.
I
Um,
actually haven't seen the Krampus movie.
I think it's on Hulu. It is streaming on one of the major streaming platforms, so you should watch it.
So,
It's just a fun
so wait,
movie.
so on this website, does it say something like fun facts about Satanists? We love the Christmas movie Krampus.
No, I'm just on their
How do you?
store, and I looked,
Ah,
they have handcrafted pottery mugs, and because 'tis the season, their Krampus holiday exclusive mug is sold out. But they have a
wow.
bunch. They have a lot of cool mugs. I'm about to they got a new customer. They have one that says "Hail Satan." Love that. And the design is really cool on a lot of these mugs. So
Yeah.
I'm actually a fan. Um
y-
the
There's
satanictemple.com people. I mean, this online store is to die for.
yeah. Yeah, there's something hilarious about someone handcrafting a mug, like doing intense pottery, and then at the same time they're listening to satanic lectures about the 7 tenets of empathy and what hell is about. Like just some old craftsman
Yeah.
that's just doing work with his
This
hands,
was
but he's like,
hand
I'm
thrown.
also worshiping Satan.
I
Yeah.
love this though because there's one I actually might buy one because there's one that's the familiar raven mug, which I'm actually wearing my Ravens jersey right now. Um,
Hell
I'm from
yeah.
Baltimore, so shout out to Edgar Allan Poe, my guy, the Raven. Um,
Shout
I
out.
actually want to get a Raven tattoo, but not like for the football team, for like Edgar Allan Poe, the Raven. Um, so
Mm.
I'm who know, maybe they should reach out to me, the temple, because I could be a spokesperson.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we should definitely, at least go to a meeting, just kind of
At
see
least go to
what
one
it's all
meeting.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just so it would be so funny to just go to a Satan meeting expecting it to be just the darkest, sickest shit you've ever seen. And there's like some old
Oh, it
lady
looks like
greeting
a
you at
good
the door,
time.
like, "Did you have a nice day? Like, come on in. Here's some
They're
cookies."
pro-choice, so they're so down for ladies choosing what they want to do with their bodies. God bless.
Of course they are.
And
Of course they are.
they have a whole pride section. There is a rainbow t-shirt that says Hail Satan on it. I mean,
Yeah.
come on
God doesn't
now.
want you, but we'll take you. Yeah,
Exactly.
there
That's
you
what
go.
I'm saying. Like, I love it
God's a
here.
piece of shit. Yeah. Come with us. They're making a really good argument.
Yeah, no, they really are. And, you know, just to kind of jump on a different train real quick,
Yeah.
I stumbled across a holiday tipping guide. Um,
Oh, yeah.
did you kind of
Very
grow
useful.
up in a family where maybe your parents would like give a gift to like your postal work lady or man, or like the trash man or
Yeah.
anything?
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah, just like leave a gift and I think my parents every year they would give something to the landscapers, like the people
Like,
who
get the
did
people that,
the
like, mow your
block where I lived
lawn and
on.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember that. Like there would just be like an
gotcha.
end of the year gift. Everyone on the block would chip in and we, give them something.
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up my dad kinda did the same thing. He'd leave something in the mailbox for, like, our mail
Yeah.
delivery driver. He'd leave something out, like, with the trash when the trash men came, so they could have a gift. But I just thought this article was fun. So this is the holiday tipping guide, who to tip and how much. And
Mm,
so it says, who should get a holiday tip? As a general rule, it's appropriate to tip the following people at the holidays. Some of these are funny though. Delivery drivers. It's like you don't tip them the whole fucking year round. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Babysitters or nannies, door
Okay.
attendants slash building managers, maintenance
Mhm.
workers like repair people, housekeepers, trash collectors, or landscapers, pet walkers slash groomers or sitters, personal trainers, hairstylists,
Yeah.
and newspaper carriers. And some of these I just found interesting because I'm like, don't you already tip your hairstylist and your delivery
Yeah.
driver? And I'm certainly not tipping the newspaper carrier that delivers the newspaper I never even asked for to the bottom of my driveway. Well, what?
No.
I'm not
Not at
giving
all.
you any of my money.
Yeah. I mean, and if he's leaving it at the bottom of your driveway, he's definitely not a Satanist. He's not delivering with empathy.
No.
So I don't think he deserves a tip.
Exactly. But I just thought it's just like, at what point? I mean, we can't tip everybody just because it's
Yeah.
Christmas. I mean, I can't tip my trash collector all the time, my dog groomer, my freaking babysitter. Like, you're already paying these people.
Yeah.
At what
First of
point
all,
do we draw the line?
I bet this article was written by a business owner or someone who owns a corporation because they don't fucking pay their employees enough, which is why people need to tip,
Exactly.
as opposed to other countries where tipping isn't a thing because people actually make enough to live just doing their job and not being fake nice all the time in
Yes.
hopes that they can have enough money to eat every day. So I say instead of holiday tipping, how about we just start bi-weekly paying
That,
and not
yeah,
have this be a holiday thing so we can make up for your
exactly.
lack of paying your employees because you're just a garbage piece of shit.
No, exactly. And it's just the list goes on and on. It's like at this point, I should just walk outside and start handing out dollar bills, like just for everybody. Everybody gets a tip this year because that's the world we live in now, where we have to follow a tipping guide and we got to tip
Yeah.
everybody under the fucking sun for doing a service
Yeah.
that we already pay them for.
Yeah, there's things like also if you're, let's say you get your haircut right before the holidays, you want to look good, you know, if grandpa dies at Christmas dinner and someone happens to be taking a video, you don't want to look like shit with your hair if that goes viral. You want to look good as
Mhm.
grandpa is passing away in the background. So you get your haircut where you already tip,
Yeah,
as you
I'm gonna
said.
tip them anyways. If they want
Are
you to
you
give an
then
extra
leaving a
tip, like a holiday tip, like up it.
like a
If you
holiday
usually
tip
leave
like
$20, you should leave like 40.
Yeah. So like you're giving them the 20 and then you're going Merry Christmas. Here's another 20.
Yes.
So they know this is not the regular tip. Don't
Yeah.
expect this in January,
Yes.
but right now I'm just letting you know I'm tipping you a little bit
Yeah.
extra. I I
I'm cool
I
with this.
I
If
mean I
you
don't know.
have the
uh,
funds to do this, that's great.
I'm yeah, I'm cool with tipping people extra that you go to regularly
Yeah.
throughout the
And that
year
you
for
already,
service.
yeah, exactly. Me too.
But if it's like the fucking corporate Starbucks that you're going to one time because you're passing through New Jersey and they're like, "Would you like to leave an extra holiday tip?" I'm like, "Fuck no." Like this
No,
coffee's $7.
absolutely not.
I'm not I'm
Never ask me
you're
again.
pouring me an americano. Yeah. Exactly. It's getting a little bit. I had this happen to me this was before I left Panama, but I put in an order for pickup in Grubhub in Brooklyn, and I'm walking there to pick it up, and they asked me in the little electronic sign out thing, like, do you want to tip your driver? And I'm like, what driver? Like, I'm
I'm the driver.
walking. I'm the driver. Yeah, like I am the delivery person in this situation. But it's just like there's gonna be a tipping point. uh, no pun intended. I wish I
I read
did
that
say that
book.
on purpose. Uh, I've heard of it. I'll tell people I read it, and then I'll tell them my ideas on
Yeah,
tipping,
okay.
and then I'll write my own book. But I just feel like this shit's gone too far. People, I get that people do their jobs and they want to get recognized for it, but like this all goes back to people just not getting paid and the type of culture we live in, and it's just like it's getting out of hand.
Yeah, and it goes on to say like how much to tip. So, rideshare drivers like your Uber, 15 to 20%. Um, Newspaper carriers, 10 to $30. What? This
Mm,
one gets me. Door attendants, anywhere from 20 to $100, depending on the level of service. What's the service? Opening the door? Guarding the door? What is the
yeah,
service? I mean, I know I've been to your apartment, Zach, and you technically have like a doorman. He's not by the
yeah,
door, but he's at the desk. And I remember I asked you, like, when I first started going to your place, like, is it annoying? Because every time I went in, first of all, I know this motherfucker remembers me. There are not a lot of people
yeah.
that look like me. I mean, there probably are, but not showing up at your
I was gonna
apartment.
say, I was gonna say it's Brooklyn.
Yeah, there actually are a lot of people that
There's a
look
good
like
chance.
me. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, so like every time I had to go and be like going up to the ninth floor, like going to Zach's place, and he has to pick up the phone and like call you and like let you know as if I just showed up unannounced, as if we don't text. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
as if you didn't know I was coming. He's ringing up like,
yeah,
"Oh, like this is the fucking 80s. Like this stuff is like outdated. Like that shit you would do back when like I had a pager. And he'd like call up
yeah.
because you didn't actually know when I was showing up."
Yeah. I'll I'll say in that situation, what I should have told you to do is just walk straight to the elevator and not say anything, because
I can't.
that
They
is
always looked at me. They're
do they
they
stop you or
recognize.
do they just look at you?
They would before, because it's kind of a long ways. First of all, those stairs at your apartment building, I hate because they're kind of steep and it's dark, because you're going down some floors and there's scaffolding outside of the doors.
Yeah.
So I'm risk adverse. So I got to go down one at a time, like a toddler. So then
Mhm.
I'm going
Yeah.
slow and they just see me. I mean, listen, I know I'm a ray of sunshine. I tend to draw a lot of attention to myself when I enter a room. So I think there was no chance for me to get to the elevator without them
Yeah.
being like, "Hey, how you doing?
I
Hello."
I think I think it's more of a legal thing where if you just walk straight by them, a lot of them would probably just be like, "Oh yeah, she might not live here, but she knows where she's going." But if you announce that you are seeing someone and you don't live in the building, there's probably something legal where they have to call up just in case I get murdered, and then it's like the building is getting
Well, I
sued
thought that
for
was their
$20
point to
million
begin
dollars.
with. Everybody that comes in that doesn't live there needs to check in with them because they want to
Yeah.
keep track of the people that in theory they haven't done background checks on because you get background checked when you get an apartment. So,
Yeah. It
yeah,
it
but
also
still
depends
it's
which doorman you pass.
yeah,
It also
that's true.
depends which guy you pass, because some are better at remembering and they'll just go like, "Oh yeah," like in the building where we record the podcast at your office. The first time had to check in with the guy and go, "I'm
Mhm.
going up to the fourth floor," and he complimented me on my watch, and now he's just like, "Oh yeah, what's up?
Whatever.
Like
Yeah,
nice
yeah,
watch,"
yeah.
and I just walk right past him. So I think it
Yeah.
depends who you get. I will say the number one, they should stop calling it a doorman and start calling it package man, because the
Yes.
number one
Yeah,
reason to have
that's
a
more what
building
it
with a
is.
doorman the number one reason to have a building with a doorman in New York City is so that your packages don't get stolen. That is the biggest benefit
Mhm.
of having someone down there, rather than your packages getting like thrown on the floor, or thrown outside the building and then they're just gone by the time you get
I'm
there.
being for
So yeah,
real
I,
here.
I'll
I live in Harlem and I'm obviously not going to announce where I live in Harlem, but I
I will.
I
It's
it's a house though. It's like a
yeah.
house. So I don't have a vestibule or a doorman or anything that anybody they can't if I'm not home and I don't answer the doorbell, there's nowhere for them to put the package besides just out in the open for all the people walking on the sidewalk to just pick
Yeah.
up and take. I, knock on wood, have never in the 2 years now that I've lived here, multiple times I've had packages just out, never had one stolen. The people of
Okay.
Harlem are just minding their fucking business, and that's why I love
Yeah.
Harlem.
There you go. And Harlem is
And I don't
popping
need to
now.
tip
I
my
hear about
doorman $100 either,
a
because I
hundred
am my
a
own
hundred dollars
doorman.
is $100 is a lot. I'll tell you what I do every year. I there's 5 or 6 different guys that are downstairs, 4 or 5
Yeah. How could
doormen,
you
a
tip
couple
all
maintenance
5 of
people.
them?
So
They are
I'll tell you
making a
exactly what I
killing,
do.
Zach. If they're getting wait a second. Think of all the tenants in your building. Even if all the tenants are
Yeah.
giving them $20 a person, they're making a fucking killing.
I would say probably 50% tip, and let's figure this out. So there's what, like 6 rooms on each floor. There's 9 floors. Let's say 55, 60 to call it even. If they're getting half of the people are giving them, let's say $20 on average, that's around 5 or 600 a doorman, which it's a nice little thing at the end of the year. I'll tell you what I do. So I go across the
Wait, wait,
street,
wait. You're giving so if there's 60 people and they're giving $20.
but I only think half of the people
Okay,
actually
I was
leave
gonna say, I
something.
was like, that's over a grand. Okay, I gotcha.
So I go across the street, I go to the liquor store and I say, "What tell me what boxes of wine you have in now that, or a case where I could just carry it. That's, not a low level, but it's kind of like mid range, not super
Yeah.
expensive. I get a case of, I think it comes with 12 bottles in a case.
Mhm.
I spend $120 on a case of okay wine, like good wine that I enjoy, but it's just not super expensive. I hand out a bottle each to the guys downstairs, and then I end up having 4 or 5 left over for either myself or other gifts for different people. So that's
Mhm.
usually what I do. I just get something that's just like quick, and I give it out to the door guys. Just
That's what my
because,
dad
like,
used to do. He would do the same thing, like a six
yeah,
pack of beer, something like that.
yeah, like you want the door guys to be on your side, because
Definitely.
there are some situations in the building throughout the year where you're like, this apartment's making so much noise, this, I'm having a problem with this, I
But
need this
can't I
fixed.
just
If
be
you're
a
a door
nice
guy,
person? Like, why do I have to buy them? Why do I have to
it's
buy their hard work? You know what I mean? Like, why do I have to
it's because
give them money?
it's the Anna Delvey mentality. If you're working behind a desk and Anna Delvey has $100 bills in your hand, in her hand, and
Fake
you're
ones.
talking to you're talking to someone else, and she just keeps slapping $100 bills down on the counter until you come over and give her attention. How many of those do you think have to happen before you call, another employee and be like, hey, can you cover this? Anna Delvey just slapped down $800 bills on the
I
counter for
mean,
me to
I guess
answer
my
a
thing is
question.
if I'm a doorman, hell yeah, if somebody's giving me extra cash, I'm definitely going to continue to like be nice to that person and do my job for
Yeah.
that person. However, it's my job as an employed person to do that for everyone anyways. Like, I don't know, that's
Yeah.
me. Like, I'm always going to just do my job and be cool with everybody anyways. If you give me extra cash, sure, but I'm still not doing anything illegal for you, you know?
But it is human. It is not illegal, but like just to take extra care of you, where it's like, it's a human thing
I can't be
where
bought.
if everyone, then you're better than me. I can be bought. I'm letting you know right now. If
I just
anyone's out
can't.
there and they just
Yeah,
want
I
to
wish I
send
could.
something special,
I wish I could.
I will do. I'll do this podcast for the Chinese Communist Party if they make the highest bid for break and takes once we pop up. If
Yeah.
they're like, if the Saudis offer us $100 million to do breaking takes brought to you by the Saudi kingdom, fuck yeah. Like, I'll
I
take a nice
can't.
100 mil.
I believe you. I can't. I have too much moral obligation. So,
I'm just gonna keep slapping down $1 million checks in front of you
if they're real,
until you're
dude.
like, I'll do. If they're real, they're 100% real. The Saudis. Well, okay,
All
let's say
right.
this: a
If
Saudi
we get a
prince,
real deal, it will bring me a consideration.
let's say the Saudi prince, one of them, because I know there's like 400 different Saudi families, but let's say one of them is a listener to Breaking Takes, and we get a call next week, and he says, I love the podcast. I'm a huge fan. I don't need to see any analytics. I'm just a super fan, and I'll do anything to, be the main sponsor of the podcast. The Breaking Takes brought to you by the Al Sharab Saudi family, and I'm gonna give you $100 million
Mhm.
for 3 years each. You and Sam, 100 mil for 3 years. Breaking Takes brought to you by Saudi Arabia, Saudi family. Sure, there are some shady things that
I
happen.
don't
Sure,
think I'm doing it. I don't think I
do you,
am.
would you take the 100 mil?
No. But what I would do was come
We don't
from
have to
it.
change anything. We don't have to move to Saudi Arabia. All we have to do is
But
a
we're
60-second
sponsored
ad.
by like it's like, oh, Breaking Take sponsored by Kim Jong Un, sponsored by the
Yeah,
oil industry.
exactly.
Well, that would be
Exactly.
funny,
Yeah.
but I honestly no. I do I am that person that has like a lot of moral obligation, but what I would do was still get rich off that shit cuz I'm smart like that. So I'm going to take this offer and go so public with it. I'm going to all my big time podcasters that I like that get like at least 1 million views or listens. And I'm sending them proof and I'm getting on all the shows to talk about this. And I'm just going to get publicity. It's going to be a longer route to wealth, but
But
I'm going to do it.
what if one of the podcasters you send the message to goes, "Oh, Sam won't take this offer, but I will." And then
I
before
don't
you go
think
on the
so.
show, the Saudi family just takes they give the sponsorship to another podcast, so it's not a story
What is
anymore
this?
with your
What is
podcast.
this fantasy? I don't think that's happening. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Just
Yeah.
a hypothetical, because I just I'll speak for myself. I don't think I would consciously treat someone better if they give me money, but if I'm a hotel concierge or I'm a door person and everyone else walks in and I treat them nice and everyone would say, "Oh yeah, Zach's a good door guy." And then, every once in a while, this other guy who lives in the building, Rich, walks in and he just goes, "Hey, here's $100. Like, I had a great year at work.
I mean, that's awesome.
Uh, you know, here's $100. Uh, thanks for being a great door guy." And then 2 weeks later, he comes back and he's like, uh, it's that time of year. I just got my bonus. You know, here's another $100. Life is going good. Then
That's
he's like,
great.
"Oh, your kid wants this tricycle. Like, I just got him the tricycle. It's like the new, fucking electric tricycle scooter for kid." I think I wouldn't consciously go, "I'm going to treat Rich better than the other people who live in the building." But when Rich calls me at the same time as someone else calls me, I'm picking up Rich first because he's giving me the gifts.
I Yeah, I feel actually differently. I Money to me, like, yeah, I want to get rich, but this could be my fatal flaw, but I've always been like this. I have a lot of integrity. So I don't care. Like, if you give me
Yeah.
more money, like, you're the same to me as everybody else. I don't know. Like, that's just how
Yeah.
I feel. I'm not gonna, like, sure, I don't know, like, I don't I'm not gonna go, "Oh, I'm taking care of, like, the rich guy stuff first because he gives me more money." Like, "No, bitch, you gave me that money." Like, I'm just still gonna do my job. Like, so
Yeah. No, I don't mean not do your job or treat other people worse. I just mean
but wouldn't that's what I'm
if
saying, though, like, favoritism is not part of the job. Like, just everybody
I and I'm arguing for me that someone who uh goes out of their way to, maybe get a present or leave bigger tips. I'm just saying, if I was in that position as a hotel concierge or something like that, that if I had the opportunity, two people on the same level, but they both need help or they both, need something, I think my energy would gravitate more naturally to the person who has been more generous with their time, energy, and money. Because, like, again, everything is time. Like, even money is
I
time.
agree on
The
that
more the
if
more
the
money you have,
issues are like this. There's no level of, like, more importance on the issue, then sure, of course. But if, like, they
yeah,
call me at the same
like,
time and I feel morally like the this person that didn't give me cash, their issues just more of a concern to me, I'm still going with that person over the person that gave me money.
no, yeah, I'm saying here. This is what I'm saying. I'm not saying, like, ignore Gertrude in 9D that's having a heart attack and she needs an ambulance and Rich needs a reservation. Like, obviously, I'm not gonna handle Rich's situation before taking care of the other woman. I'm saying instead, like, let's say that two people need a parking spot out front of my building, and I'm the person working behind the desk at the building, and there's only one parking spot, and two people check in to say, like, "Hey, I'm unloading my stuff. Do you think you can save the parking spot for me?" if it's Rich versus someone else, I think I'm gravitating more towards like, yeah, I'll hold it for Rich because he's been more generous to me. So I want to be more generous to him. I'm not
Yeah,
saying
I
treat
mean,
the other person worse. I'm not like
no,
take
I
away
hear
from the
you,
other
but I'm
people in the
just
building.
it's like when does that happen? Like I hear you, but it's just like how often does that happen that like they're both going to call you at the same exact time with the same exact request, you know? So I guess like for me it's like
Yeah,
okay, that's like
it's just
I
a hypothetical. Just
agree.
a
I
hypothetical.
do agree, but it's like I don't know. Like to me it's like that's unlikely to happen. So it would probably never go down that way.
Or it's like the idea. I've done this a few times where I go to a bar in the city that maybe I'm going to be there for 3 or 4 hours. Like this is the spot we're going to be with our friends,
Yeah.
or with friends. I have tipped $20 for the first drink, and then every other time I go up to the bar, I'm leaving a normal tip. But the bartender looks over other people and is like, "What are you having?" And
I
I'm just
that
like,
makes more
"There's no
sense
line
though.
for you."
But that's the name of the
Yeah, and
game
that's
in
because I paid
bartending
the
though.
bartender.
That's the name of
But
the
that's what I'm
game in
saying.
bartending, not doorman service. I think.
Yeah, but
That's just my
you
opinion.
still want to be but being a doorman, you're still providing a service that's not money. A bartender isn't his job isn't to get more money. His job is to make the best drinks, just like your
But
job as a
he
doorman
gets
is to be the best
paid
doorman.
on tips. The doorman does not. The doorman gets paid a salary. So with bartending,
So,
it's like,
would
yeah, because
you
this is his whole service, his whole income is based on tipping. And so of course he's going to go after like who's giving me the best tip and being probably a cool person. I mean, if you tip a lot and you're still a dick, you might get looked over still, but
so is it only okay to reciprocate generosity if you're not on a full salary? Like let's say the bartender has a salary that's the same level as a doorman and there's tipping with both that are just part of it cuz like
these
everything has tipping
but
nowadays.
now where are we? Sweden? Since when does a bartender have a salary?
Well,
I guess
I'm
I'm
the
having a hard time here because I don't play in like the world of like hypothetical that well. I'm just like with bartending it makes sense.
I'm maybe I'm doing a bad job at
I
explaining the
feel like
point.
you
I'm
aren't.
this
I get you. I just think we disagree. We're
Yeah,
having
no,
a
that's
holiday
fine. I,
family spat.
that's fine. I'm just saying that as the like if the doorman's job is to be a good doorman, the bartender's job is to be a good bartender, and let's say for the sake of the argument that they're both making a similar amount at the end of the year and it's both coming from similar places where the doorman's not really making a big salary, a lot of it comes at the end of the year in tips or throughout the year. Same thing, bartenders making less than minimum wage, most of his things comes from tip because like let's be honest, the doorman's probably not making an outrageous salary either. A lot of it may come from those like yearly generosity bonuses, things like that. If you slide someone some more money up front, they're more likely to reciprocate that with more attention to detail for the person that slid them the money. I'm saying I would do that. I'm not saying that you would do that. I'm just saying I would be more likely to give that person attention and look over the other people that want to drink and go, oh, like there's Todd. Todd just slipped there. Like there's Sarah. Sarah tipped me up front. Like I'm taking care of her. Doesn't have to do with my job necessarily, like how I get paid. It's more just like the move of like here's some money up front and the sort of like the unspoken word is that I'm doing this to uh sort of get taken care of. You know what I mean? Like when I walk up to the bar, like I want to have the attention. I'm not like the other people that are leaving you, you know, like 10% tips or like tipping for one drink and then not tipping for the rest of the night. That like that money will sort of buy you the attention and it is transactional at the end of the day.
Well,
That's what I'm
I
trying to say.
still wholeheartedly agree with the bartending thing for sure. I just yeah, I don't know. We are coming. I guess I also just, I just, what world? That's more my
I
thing.
don't.
But
Yeah.
yeah, with the bartending, of
I think
course.
I live in a world. My morality, I would describe like this: you can't make me change my morals for money. You can't make me. You can't shake the foundations of my morality with a paycheck. You can, however, adjust the way that I spend my attention with some extra generosity in the form of money. Now, if that attention goes against my foundations of morality, I will not give you that attention. I will do the job as it needs to be done. But that surface level attention is up for grabs. 100%, like the iceberg of my attention can be bought, but like the foundations of who I am and what I'm ultimately going to become at the end of the day, that is something that's unshakable for better or worse.
Sure. I mean, sure. I
Yeah.
feel like we went in a really big circle of kind of saying the same thing.
Yeah. And I mean, that's why we're both going to become Satanists, because at the end of the day, we're on the same page, but in just
Yeah,
two different ways, just bopping around.
that's
So I
right.
think we're gonna worship Satan to the
This
fullest. You
Christmas.
know, I'll Satan can buy my soul for sure. I will sell it to him,
Yeah.
and
If he sends me a free
I will follow
t-shirt,
this
a free pride
free T-shirt
t-shirt.
and a free mug,
Yeah, and the
because
mug.
yeah, because don't
I
forget
want that
that.
fucking
You
mug.
know, if I'm going to hell, you better have that fucking mug ready
That's
for me.
right.
I'm gonna need something to pour drinks in to party.
Absolutely.
So yeah, thank you guys
This has
for
been a
tuning
wild one.
in
Yeah. I hope that this
to this episode of
episode
Breaking Takes.
felt like your family table on Christmas where everybody's saying the same thing, but everybody's yelling.
Yeah, exactly. And we wanted to give you guys that
That
experience over a
simulation.
podcast, just in case you're not going to see your family during the holidays, because there are a lot
Exactly.
of people that just can't for whatever reason.
True.
So listen to this and you will get that holiday spat
Very true.
feeling. Me and Sam, even under the table, I was texting her insults and she was texting me insults, because I was like, I want to incite a riot at the end of this podcast.
Yeah,
And this is what we've become.
exactly.
This is who
It's
we
what
are
it
deep
boiled
down.
down to at the end of the year. This is what
Yeah.
sums us up 2023.
Yes. 2023. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. Thank you for joining
Indeed.
us for this extravaganza. And
Yeah,
as we said the last episode, we're taking a little bit of a break, but we will be back in sometime early 2024.
indeed. Yeah, thanks guys for sticking with us. We look forward to taking a break and game planning a new season. So we look forward to
Yeah.
seeing you in the new year.
Yeah. And, if the Saudis are listening, side text me. I'll see
Yeah.
you guys later.
Peace.